Pals for Life.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Pals for Life. Pals for Life is weekly radio for anyone who wants to enjoy World of Warcraft with some extra pals. We've got your commentary on news, rumors, and a special segment we like to call The Boss Fight. Today is October 19th, 2014. My name is Wilson, and I'm joined today by Randall.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Nano.
What's going on?
And Lane.
Howdy.
So, let's jump right into this. Our Spellbreaker topic this week is an updated price on the Battle Chest. The Battle Chest is now $20, so that includes all of the expansions from Original WoW all the way up until Mist of Pandaria, all for $20.
Yeah, Lane.
Deal. Shut up. Hey, we already went over this. I have all of them already.
Do we know this, though, for sure?
Yeah, I seriously checked. I have every single expansion.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but...
Up until obviously.
Yeah, up until the new one.
You know, it still bothers me, man. Paying full price for every single expansion.
We're still on this. And then $20 for 5 of them? Or 4 of them, I guess?
Granted, I've gotten a couple of them for Christmas and birthday presents. But it's like, the money spent on all of it.
I think the thing is, though, is that, like, you got to, like, play that content. And, you know, people that are buying it now are just really buying it to play the new content.
That's true.
Like, so it's a little different. Although, I mean, in some ways, I think we should have, like, some maybe, like, slight reward system, like, as incentive, like, since we've, like, you know, we're kind of veteran players and have been buying the expansions on release each time, so.
That's a legacy thing, and I could never really think of, like, a good way to deal with this, but, I mean, the best way is obviously giving, you know, certain little perks to people that did buy it, or like just titles and stuff like that. I
would say aesthetic stuff, like cool mount, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's stuff you should, you know, like put it in with the digital release stuff, and then you can't get it after that, and maybe like for the first week or month, and then after that, bye bye. Good luck buying in game, maybe.
He said bye bye.
Some of that stuff already exists, right? So, I mean, you do have some items that are still limited time.
Like, some of it, but isn't that only with, like, the collector's edition, though?
Oh, I meant, like items in game, like, you know, not many people are going to be running certain areas of the game.
Oh, yeah. There are a few things like that, but they're not, like, directly associated with, like, you having gotten the expansion out within a certain time.
That's fair. I mean, but you do also get all that time to play the game, right?
Yeah, that's what the big thing is, though. I mean, that is the big difference.
You are getting more time to farm all those cool mounts that most people probably won't get.
That aren't ever going to get.
Or time-lapse photo drakes.
And you just
shh, quiet.
And you just get to experience the game, like, in, like, its true form for that, like, part of the game. You know what I mean?
It's definitely going to be more dead now around those areas, and we already talked about the Ghost Town stuff. That's going to be a major culprit if you're going back and playing stuff from, like, Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, dude, like, Pandaria is going to be probably one of the worst, I think, once this new expansion hits. There's going to be almost no reason, I think, to go back over there.
I will probably go there just to see what it looks like, honestly, if I ever play it.
Wait, I think he meant you are.
He meant when. I think the biggest thing, Randall was right about, you know, being in the content first and just playing it out as normal. And the thing is, you won't, like, if there's something you don't know, you can't go look for it online. You have to figure it out yourself.
And that's why MMOs are awesome.
And that's the fun part of it anyway, in my opinion, is, you know, being able to figure it out. And I think Randall's right by saying that you can't really get that once you know, purchase the whole battle chest. It's like everything's already laid out for you. People have done that. People have been there. You know, people are gonna make fun of you for not knowing how to do that. You know, but...
Yeah, Lane.
Shut up. And good luck at finding a way to put a monetary value on that anyway. It's extremely abstract, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like, what is your actual enjoyment or actual value of playing this with everyone else at the same time for the first time? And I think that obviously we've decided that is a very big value, which I definitely agree. But some people value that more than others, so ultimately it was a good move on their part, I guess.
Yeah.
Still gonna piss a few people off.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, at any rate, if you're looking to get back into World of Warcraft, this is a really good time in terms of expansions. You only have to pay $20 to catch all the way back up to Mist of Pandaria, and this is also going to come with 30 days of free game time. Lane, anyone else who's on the fence about playing, this is a good time to get in. So we're going to move on right over to the boss fight. This is the section of the show where we have a very productive and unique discussion about World of Warcraft. Lane is a host of the show, but is also not really a WoW player. Obviously, we are actively attempting to get him to play the game, but he likes to bring an outside perspective to the game, to an aspect of the game, and we basically discuss it down to a point where there is a clear winner or loser, usually. So, for this week, Lane, what is your beef with WoW?
Alright, well, I have a pretty good one this week, and I thought it was very pertinent watching the survival guide and reading about some of the patch notes that Blizzard is trimming down the game considerably through stats and other sort of random things that they have attached to gear, etc. So this week, I wanted to specifically talk about power creep. And I think WoW is one of the best examples out there as to how power creep can totally kick you in the butt when you're making a game and progressing forward through extreme life cycles. And this is obviously the most extreme of all examples you can get. I mean, most games have not been around for 10 years. And so WoW has had a lot of time for power to creep. So I think it's good to talk about power creep, and I'm really glad they're doing something about it. But it's something worth talking about. So what I really want to talk about with this is how they did not really do anything about this, or at least to my knowledge, do anything about this before now. They added all these expansions with all these new pieces of gear and things like that bumped up the power of everyone considerably, and they talk about this in the survival guide, and that's what they're mainly trying to trim back on. So the real question I want to pose here is why did they not pay more attention to this earlier, and what other ways in the game did it progress? Because I can obviously see the points, the stat side, but there are going to be things underlying in the game, like different abilities that have power creeped into the game, into the forefront and stuff like that. So I want to hear you guys weigh in a little bit on this, and we'll see if there's anything we can tussle over after a little bit of words. Anybody got anything?
There's not really anything too good to say about it, because I mean, from time to time, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like seeing the big numbers go up where it was like, wow, I did 300,000 crit, obviously often, probably only on bosses, but nonetheless, it was something that was exciting, that we didn't see very often back in the day. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's either a dislike or a like thing, but
honestly, I'm not really even 100% sure that there is something based around the abilities that has caused power creep, because mostly in this patch, it seems that they focused on the odds and ends of the abilities that didn't really make sense, or the stats, and those are two very straightforward examples of power creep. I was honestly just curious if you guys had any specific examples.
Well, it's okay. I guess it's difficult for them to be able to just keep everything, below 30,000 health and everything like that once they have reached, level 90 max. I mean, it's going to be hard because people who are level 2 are going to be hitting for 1 until they're level 30.
Pretty much. I mean,
if they try to, well, I'm just saying if they try to range it out, I mean, that's how it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
Extent, I think, but it's just, I mean, they had a lot to handle as it is, as far as, all the subscribers that they had, having level 90, and I mean, I think it was just easier for them to just throw bigger numbers in there. It also might even help speed up the development of the game, I mean, it's not for them having to redo everything and go back through and then put off the expansion for another year and a half, but I think they're gonna get it right with this one, because this patch doesn't seem too bad, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
That was my main concern with it, really. It was, well, okay. I'd just like to say, I think probably one of the main culprits of this is them trying to make harder and harder enemies until they get to the point where things, are so hard that the current gear can't deal with it. And so to deal with that, they make better gear, and that keeps compounding upon itself until we're at the point we are now. And they're balancing that out across the board, and in the process, squishing a lot of stats that don't need to be necessarily used. And I really like some of the stats they're adding, like the double strike and a few of the other things. But the main concern that comes up to me, and this is obviously still from the outside, is that this is less of a power creep squish and more of a complete rebalance in my eyes. They're going from say the game has incremented upon itself, a fifth every time until up to where we are now, which is 5/5. They're trying to cut off like 3 or, 4/5 of that and then bring the game back down to that level. And in the process, you're losing a lot of things that are integral to how you played necessarily, like your stats specifically. And they're adding things like health and stuff so you don't get totally destroyed in some of the things that you're used to doing. Yeah. But I'm worried that this is going to screw things up on like a more advanced level. Maybe this random boss out in the wilderness does way too much damage now and they have to go tune that. So my real worry is not so much that it ever got to the power creep point, because I could not even imagine trying to balance the game around this much stuff and not having power creep. So it's good that they're addressing it. I'm worried that it's going to screw up things that they don't feel like fixing or may not ever get around to fixing that aren't like huge, but annoying enough to mess with the game.
And I don't think that'll be an issue. It's just because they have too many subscribers to not be thorough. Now, if the game was a little bit smaller, they didn't have as many subscribers, it might take them a while to get to it, but the fact is, it's Blizzard.
Yeah, that's true, it's Blizzard. I kind of come at this with a skeptical side because a lot of companies nowadays take for freaking ever to respond to something.
Yeah.
So, but it's Blizzard. So.
Yeah, that could be one of the biggest responses. Come on.
Yeah, it's Blizzard.
But
you two got anything?
I think, so as far, like, addressing, like, the stat squish, the stat squish in a lot of ways doesn't really mean anything without changing how the abilities work also. Mm-hmm. You can change numbers around, but if they effectively do the same thing, you're not changing anything at all except how it looks aesthetically, right? Mm-hmm. Because, let's say you have 500,000 health and I deal 100,000 damage to you, it is the exact same thing as if you have 50,000 health and I deal 10,000 damage to you, right?
Yeah. There's
actually no difference there. The difference comes in how they address abilities and changes and how people deal damage. So the stat squish really is just like, it's to make everything more digestible. It doesn't change gameplay or anything. That keeps it all the same because everything was scaled down with it. All damage was scaled down with it, all that stuff, right? It's not like health was reduced a bunch and everyone still did 100,000 damage or anything like that.
Yeah, that would be kind of ridiculous.
Everybody getting one shot.
So, they just addressed like how much damage certain abilities did and how people would be, how crowd control worked and how healing worked and a lot of things like that.
What do you think about the crowd control changes, by the way?
They're really good.
Yeah. Do you think that was a source of power creep? Like letting a whole bunch of crowd control spells get into the game?
Yeah, that was like, because one of the problems they had is like, what they did is they knocked down crowd control some and healing a little bit, and they bumped up damage some. Mm-hmm. Because used to, the reason crowd control there had to be so much of it is because people could heal so much and had so much, just like their defense was so high as a whole that you couldn't really kill someone unless you could lock them down forever, right?
Pretty much.
So now, they balanced it back a little bit so you can deal enough damage without having to just, make someone not be able to play.
Yeah. And honestly, it sounds to me like when we start talking about this more in depth, it sounds to me like you could almost, and this is going to be 100% true, but you could almost gauge WoW by the things that have power crept into the spotlight. And that's true for a number of games. Some things will be more powerful than others at different points in the game, but like before that, you said healing and health were too difficult. So locking people down was the next best option. And then, there were too many lockdown spells in the game. So yeah. I guess it's also important to iterate that there is a distinct difference, well, not necessarily distinct, but a difference between power creep and, like flavor of the month or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're kind of hard to discern from each other sometimes because say they didn't really predict that the healing would be the meta at that point, and they just had all these CC things in the game that nobody ever really paid a mind to. Well, everybody's healing now, so somebody needs a way to shut them down. Suddenly there are too many CC spells in the game. And so this is the never-ending cycle of game balance and why power creep even exists, and it just kind of circles around on itself over and over and over.
Yeah.
Vicious cycle.
Speaking about game balance and going back a little bit on what Nana was talking about, it is Blizzard. They have increased the WoW team by 50% over the past, couple of years. So there's 75 more people working on the game, and that means that it will be a lot easier to balance these things. It means that there can be more attention to detail with bosses in the world and this type of stat squish is more possible because there are more people on the ground.
Is this is the first patch, the first major patch before Warlords of Draenor, correct?
This will be the only major patch before Warlords of Draenor.
Oh, okay. Because honestly, I've never really read through. Well, I have read through a patch of WoW before, and it kind of surprised me to open up the patch survival guide. It'd be 6 minutes, and these things be major game-changing things.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen one of those survival guide things.
Yeah, you were talking to me about how it's totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, I've never seen them, address the player base like that. They've always just done it kind of by text.
It's probably good, though, because that's a lot of really important changes people need to know about pretty early on. Oh, and here we go, getting into the survival guide. We'll save this for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess to wrap up the boss fight, I think it's evident that Blizzard's making moves to address power creep. It's certainly something that has affected the game and its development over time, and no one's ever expected a game to stay popular like this for 10 years.
Yeah, I'd say overall, at the very least, even if they're not, making everything 100% perfect, they're doing a good job at least now of trying to reel in the power creep bus that is charging through the game.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a beef that you can maybe not have to worry about and enjoy the fruits of once you decide to resub.
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So we are going to move over to Tavern Talk. This is a section of the show that is basically news and rumors heard from all over. And the first piece of information that we have for you is there has been a subscriber bump. World of Warcraft has seen an increased number of subscribers in the days and weeks leading up to Warlords of Draenor. We are sitting around 7.4 million subscribers now, according to a recent quarterly report by GameSpot. And for some perspective, this figure was at about 7.8 million last year, around this time, so very close to the numbers we had last year. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to keep going up?
Yeah, definitely.
But I do have...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I think it's interesting, and I don't know, I want to hear from you guys on this. Do they, every time before they're getting ready for an expansion, do they release a lot of, patch content to get people excited for it?
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
They do that every
releasing old stuff? Okay. Because that's really good for building up hype, and it's all this stuff is leading me up to this patch, I really want to play it now. So, I think that's awesome.
I can't actually remember if they did anything for Burning Crusade now that I think about it.
It was
they had the Dark Portal event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't play that though, really.
Yeah, we kind of did. I mean, we were running heck through Silithus trying to hit 60 because, the two of us were sharing an account at the time.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Oh gosh.
Well, I mean, I remember that the day that Burning Crusade was going to come out, the night before I hit 60, and I was able to use the Unstoppable Force. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, dude. I remember that.
From Alteric Valley.
That was pretty cool. I thought you were pretty cool right then, not gonna lie.
My first epic. I was doused in all greens, but my first epic was the Unstoppable Force. I remember that.
You were probably very happy with it.
I was a lot cooler back then, but it was
I was in middle school or high school, and
that was super cool.
Guys, my feet are already getting tired from this walk down memory lane.
Oh god.
But anyway, I had one more thing to say about the subscriber bump. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
A lot of people, as far as because I post these things on Facebook, obviously, but a lot of the other people that I know that play WoW, a good bit of them that have been playing since vanilla, have been telling me that the subscriber bump was not going to happen. And I told them, I was like, okay, all right, we'll see. Those who have been away for a while, they're going to come back. That's what I figured. So do you think there's going to be a lot more once the expansion finally drops, or do you think that people are going to start leaving?
No, I think we're going to see a jump once the game starts, and then it'll drop a little bit once everyone gets the hype out of the way.
I think it might keep going up if the expansion is popular and received well. I think it might shoot up actually higher than expected.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think we'll go back to the Prime numbers, maybe. I just think there are too many games in the market right now to just have so many people coagulate to this one game.
Oh yeah.
But I think it can go up considerably.
Right, and then I guess my biggest thing was I wanted to get just, I'm obviously going to be posting these articles now, of the subscribe bump and everything like that. Just be like, well, for those of you who thought that it wasn't going to happen, here's a little proof for you. But it's something that I figured, if you've been playing since vanilla, you know that people are going to be interested in this patch, and especially this expansion. But,
yeah.
I mean, I digress.
It's a good point.
Anyway, go ahead. Let's,
Yeah, I mean, just for some quick perspective, World of Warcraft hit its biggest subscriber base at 12 million, and this was in October 2010, which was just a little after Wrath of the Lich King.
Holy cow.
So there's some perspective for you, but our next topic we have are basically some points we want to talk about 6.0.2, the new patch that just dropped, the Iron Tide, and I guess it all starts with this little quest line that you run through.
Oh, the one at the event, pretty much.
Spoiler alert in case you don't want to hear anything about it, but if you listen to the podcast, you're going to hear it anyway. So, it's pretty lackluster, I think.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sure there's not much meat to it, I mean, if you want to pass like an hour by, I mean, go for it. But
you get anything from it?
You get a title.
You get a title and you get a pet.
Of the Iron Vanguard.
Freaking rollerball pet. That's awesome.
You see, well, I mean, that's the object in the cinematic, which I thought was pretty cool. That actually helps take out, that's Magtheridon, right?
In the
no idea.
cinematic?
Cinematic, yeah.
No, that's,
not
Manaroth.
Manaroth, it's close.
They all look the same. That's the really annoying part.
They're all pit lords. They're all the same thing. But, yeah, that's pretty much the thing that takes them out. I thought that was pretty cool, but I'm a big person on titles, and when I saw that and how easy it was to get it, I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna put that on my characters.
Oh gosh.
Well, if you wait long enough, people will forget about it, and then
you're cool.
all of a sudden, you've got swagger.
I'm not the waiter. I'm the getter and put it back on.
Wilson thinks about these things when he goes to sleep at night. Like, this is what he dreams of.
Pretty much. Titles. The
titles and
how to be cooler than
time
people.
lost.
Titles and time lost. That's what Wilson thinks about.
I should write a guide on how to earn fame, fortune, and intrigue in Azeroth.
Intrigue.
But not time lost protege, because
he should write a novel on how not to get the time lost.
It'd be pretty
you guys are beating a dead horse here.
Yep. I don't know if
Everybody
it's
loves
dead.
Everyone still has fun with it.
Yeah,
well, the horse shouldn't be speaking anymore, so.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know if any of us have had a chance to try out the new Ubers, unfortunately. It's been a busy week, but if any of you guys have been able to play it that are listening, let us know what you think. I've heard that it might be a little too breezy, a little too easy to just run through.
Easy and breezy.
Alright, Dr. Seuss, calm down there.
I mean, this is the dungeon of Leroy Jenkins' fame, Ubers, so we definitely are going to be playing it soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You can run and tell that.
Oh my god. Wow, I forgot about that. Thank you so much.
There you go.
And obviously we've been seeing different numbers. We're not hitting for the 395,000 Chaos Bolts that we used to.
Or any of us, or maybe me some. I'm the only one I think that played Warlock, so.
Yeah, I was putting up those numbers when it came to boss fights, I mean,
No, Wilson said Chaos Bolt, though.
Oh, man. Maybe I had an item that did that. You don't know.
The Chaos Bolt item? That'd be pretty cool.
I'm even happy about this, and I don't play the game.
Right?
Or yet. But,
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Soon.
Soon, TM. Yeah.
So, we've also got a patch survival guide. This is a video that came out from Blizzard, which, interestingly enough, Randall was mentioning, reminds him of, kind of a League of Legends style spotlight video or preview. Randall, do you have any thoughts on that delivery?
Just like how just how it's presented? I mean, not its content?
Yeah, like the Blizzard's choice to do that. It's not their norm,
I don't know.
right?
I guess, I suppose it's a really grabbing format. Like, the intro tells you what the video's about, right? It's about World of Warcraft. And then it jumps right into what it is, like, patch 6.02. And just jumps down the list of different things and with small videos added to give you a visual representation of what they're talking about. And it's definitely a nice format, but I just think League of Legends every time I saw it, so.
Right.
Sure.
Well, it goes to show that Blizzard's taking notes. I mean, Riot is not a company that you underestimate.
League could have been taking, or I'm sorry, I don't know whoever makes League, could have been taking notes. Okay.
Oh, Riot.
Yeah.
Think about run and tell that. Okay.
Oh,
Run and tell that.
you run and tell that. Jeez. Yeah, you do.
I thought it was pretty informational. I liked the video. I mean, I've never seen any other survival guides or anything like that from any other game, but it piqued my interest. It was pretty cool. It had some interesting information. Some things, I mean, obviously that people already know if you've played the game for a while, but I think overall it was a pretty good little way for them to put that out there for people who are, I guess, getting reintroduced into the old style of it, which I think is kind of cool, obviously.
I mean, it even educated me. And
that's difficult. Lane definitely needs that. I mean, he's a very difficult person to educate. So
there you go.
It's a good way to check out the new models. I mean, it starts the video out with just kind of the preview of all of the models, so you can get a chance to see what the new gnomes look like, what the new Taurens look like. And I've got to say though, some of the running animations for these new character models are not okay in my opinion.
Night elves.
Yeah. It's nice.
The dwarves too. They all run like pandas.
Yay, more pandas.
They must have done something with that skeleton.
It was weird. I think somebody said that there's a way to disengage.
Oh yeah, Ayo, one of our listeners was telling us about.
And member of the guild.
And member of the guild.
Yes.
Let's do some shameless advertising. He was telling us that there's a way in the options to change it to the old character models. I can't remember how to do it right now, but if y'all want to join our server and talk to Ayo, he can guide y'all to old character models.
That's pretty sweet, actually. That's nice to keep that in.
Yep.
Yeah, but overall pretty cool.
I like my gnome though.
The gnomes still stay. They're the same. I mean, they're gonna stay the same. They have no home, so you can't do anything worse to them.
I mean, the only thing I see is 2 feet of mass. That's it.
Cute.
Cute.
Super cute. Yeah.
But of course, there's all sorts of little, quality of life updates. Like every item has its own little colored outline. So if you have an epic item, it's got a purple border around the item icon.
Also
kind of fancy. Yeah, people have icons.
Yeah, people.
Is the auto sword update?
Yep, it's in there.
Is it super convenient?
No, not at all. It moved everything that I had in one bag to another bag. It didn't sort things from, quest items to... No! It moved everything that I had in one bag to another bag.
Oh boy.
It was very inconvenient for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure on how that system works exactly. I didn't read up on it as much as I should have probably. I just noticed that usually I think my first bag is that primary bag everyone has, the traveler's backpack or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
Well, you should have replaced that by now.
But, what's it called? But that slot. And,
oh, sure, yeah.
I always think that's the first bag, and it moved everything in the opposite order of what I normally think, which I guess it makes sense from left to right.
Yeah.
But I've always thought of the bags from right to left, I guess.
Oh yeah, always. It usually starts out with the bag that you had first, then,
And now I don't know how to read.
Anyway. I don't know.
So
it sorted it somewhat conveniently because I'm a gatherer, so I have my herb bag and my mining bag, and those were already separated. It took some of my mining supplies and put it in a bag that's not for mining.
Like a supplies bag or something.
Which didn't make any sense to me, but
I'd say look forward to tons of optimization as we move forward with that.
I hope so.
And, of course, if you guys do want to check out the survival guide that we've been talking about this whole time, it's going to be on the show notes. Everything that we talk about in terms of articles and news is always in the show notes. You can check out the links there. We are going to move over to Trade Chat. This is the section of the show where we hear from you, the listener. And this is also a section of the show where we pitch our guild. PFL is an alliance guild on the Emerald Dream server in the U.S. We are steadily growing. We've got a few great members, including Ayo, as mentioned before. But we've also got Trevor, who is a longtime contributor of the show, who has weighed in. He weighed in earlier this week and basically kind of contributed to our conversation that we had about subscription model versus paying per time, played, and he said that, at the end of the day, if with the pricing model that exists, time played is actually pretty good. You get a lot of time per cent or per dollar, versus just a monthly subscription. So I think he kind of wanted to say that, we've been trained to hate, paying by the minute, but it's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely got a valid point.
Yeah. Very true.
Trevor's always got really great stuff to say, so we might have
Trevorius. That's great.
What the heck?
I had to throw that in there for him. I know he's going to listen to it, so.
Smooth.
So if you guys ever do want to be heard on Trade Chat, you can always hit us up at pals@palsforlife.net, or you can just leave a comment on the website. That's palsforlife.net. But at this point, we are going to close out the show. So thanks for the group, and thanks for tuning in this week. Please feel free, again, to shoot in any questions, complaints, and, screenshots.
Pictures of your time lost proto Drake.
Do it, please.
Get wrecked.
Please do it.
To pals@palsforlife.net. You can lord it over me and the other hosts as well. And
It's okay, I feel nothing.
he will. Hopefully Lane will be joining us in the world of Azeroth starting in a couple weeks. And to listen to any of our previous episodes, check out our website, palsforlife.net. And of course, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else podcasts are found. Until next time, this has been Pals for Life.
Yeah. And we're done.
Yeah, I've been, what I do is every week or when I think about it, I put 400, 500 gold in, something like that.
Jesus, must be nice.
Well, I just I do when I try to actually do something, I'll try to make 500 gold or something.
Yeah.
And then if I'm consciously
2,500.
Shut up, Wilson.
Hey, Wilson.
Yo.
Well, you know what? I have a Netherray financing payment, okay? I have to pay 300 gold each month on the Netherray.
Kane is in the building. Yeah.
Ka-ching. Money!
I want to tear it up.
Lane, you
What?
understand, right?
Yep.
It ain't enough.
Money.